I'm so grateful to be able to sit down with my lifelong friend and talk about the power of prayer. Denise has been a leader in her church, Bible studies, and has been an inspiration to so many.
One of the things that I learned early on was to start prayer with being thankful, to not always go in asking. In the beginning, prayer was a desperation because I had done what I was going to do, or I had tried to work on a situation, or if I was going through something, then I'd get through it to a certain point where I just had exhausted my efforts, and now I'm like, Lord, I only have you left. Can you please help me? Don't let prayer just be about the desperation, and don't wait till it's the last resort. And so back it up a little bit. And so then it's like anything else that we do when we have habits that we're doing and getting into. It's just getting into the habit of being in prayer.
So do you think that you live in gratitude now? Like it's not, you have taken yourself out of that place of desperation and you just move with gratitude?
The intention of your heart is huge. And so for me, what that looks like for me and where I've come to a point is that when I'm coming through the day and hold the attitude of your heart, sometimes I have stuff that flares up in me, whether it's like somebody I work with or Jim, my kids. If I start to feel something that is an irritation or like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that person I work with, is doing that kind of thing. And then I just like right away, I'm like, okay, Lord, that wasn't very nice, and I pull myself back into this, what's the intention of my heart? So I'm just always like looking at that. Anyway, I just think that in the intention and the motive of our heart when we do something, I think that's huge. I think there's the ripple of what we do. And when you think about the pebble that goes in the water and it goes like this, right? And whatever we do, there's a ripple to it.
One of the reasons that I made up this channel is to get different perspectives on how to let go.
I think the first thing is to realize that it takes time. When I went through my divorce, it was pretty tough. My ex-husband's family did not like me at all. And it was hard for me because I internalized a lot of that. I felt like a lot of things were my fault. Every time I knew, like, oh gosh, I'm going to go to the boys' game, I'm going to see the family, I just had a knot in my stomach. It was so, like...
debilitating?
Oh my gosh. I was scared. I had so much anxiety. I didn't want to be around it at all, but I was going to go to be with my kids, And so I held that. And so one of the things I started to do at that point was I just started to pray for them, because that was a way that I could lift them up. And I didn't want to have that in my heart. I did not want to have hatred or I just didn't want to have anything negative about them. And so then I would just say, oh, Lord, I don't know what's going on with them, but, I just lift them up to you, and you know what their needs are. And a lot of the ways that I pray for other people that I don't know what their needs are, is I ask the Lord to give them eyes to see and ears to hear what He has for them. That's a lot of times my heartfelt prayer for them, is that He would reveal Himself to them in tangible ways that speak to them, that will just further reveal Him to them specifically, to just really individually, however that is. And so that was very healing for me, but it took time. It took about 6 years, 5-6 years. And I showed up at a game. I didn't know that other family members were going to be there. And when I saw them walk in the gym, I was ready for that root of like, oh, my heart to start beating and to start having all this anxiety. And I was like, Where's it at? Wow. I'm okay. And then I was like still bracing myself, and I still thought, oh gosh, here it comes. It's gonna, oh, I'm okay. And they came right up the stands, and they sat right in front of me. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to move. I can't, oh my gosh, I gotta get away from this. And I was like, but I'm okay. All right, I'm okay. I'm breathing okay. And my son had 3 back-to-back games that day. So for like 3 hours, I sat there with those family members that I had just had so much anxiety over for all those years. And we didn't really talk about, we just talked about the kids.
When you were praying for them, do you think that there was power in taking the focus off of yourself?
Yes.
And putting it on them that really helped you to let it go?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I didn't know it at the time, but it was, so I didn't have that cognitive kind of like, okay, Denise, I think if you pray for them, you'll feel better.
Right.
I didn't know where it was that was gonna be the end result, but at that moment, I didn't know what else to do to make me feel better.
If you hadn't spent that time praying for them, do you think that you would have gotten the same results?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Is there more power in a large group of people praying for you than just one person or just you praying for yourself?
This one person or 2 or more gathered in my name kind of thing, right? There's power in that prayer. I do think that when you have a lot of people praying for one thing, there's definitely going to be more power in that, I think. There's going to be more focused power in that. And you also have more people affected. They're going to be inspired by what happens by their collective prayer, right? So that's going to expand upon itself. We need to collectively come together. And I think that there are people around our country and around our world that are pulling us in that direction.
Do you have trouble asking for others to pray for you?
I used to. Definitely used to. That humbling was in community Bible study when I was in that for 5 years. We came to the part of love thy neighbor as thyself. And as I wrote about it and was praying about it and thinking about how am I going to share this, the reason that came to me because I was thinking about how that's what God calls us to do, to love our neighbor as ourselves. And I thought, well, for me, what does that mean to me? Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, of course, Lord, I love my neighbor. Of course, I love other people. That's who I am. I love everybody. And then it was God saying, no, Denise. I said, love your neighbor as yourself. Then I have to answer the question, how do I love myself? That was something that I said, well, Lord, I don't need anything. I'm okay. No, that's not what I'm saying. Denise, I love you and I care about you. And so I want you to love your neighbor as yourself. So it's about, I can't love my neighbor till I love myself first. Mm-hmm. And so I can't give something that I don't already possess. Love is patient, love is kind, and is not jealous. Love does not brag. It is not arrogant. Does not act unbecomingly. Does not seek its own. Is not provoked. Does not take into account a wrong suffered. Does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails.
I have so much gratitude for the friendship that Denise and I have had for all these years. Thanks for meeting us here at 5th and Overland.